Hey everybody, welcome back, and this is the understanding of conditions. Now, honestly, this is probably one of the easiest things to understand because it follows the human thought pattern of what you do and what we do as humans every single day. So let's take an example of what this might, or let's look at an example of what this might be. So if this, do that. So apply this to your life. If your dog, let's just say you're a dog lover, if your dog comes to you and begs you or scratches at the door, then open the door and let him go to the bathroom, right? So it's pretty much as simple as that. Now, if the dog were to do something else different, like whine over the food bowl, maybe he wants some water or maybe wants something to eat, right? So these are all of these conditions as it relates to your pet. And so it's the same thing in programming. Let's take an example of what this might be. And so we already showed, if this, then do that, or when this, then do that. Same type thing. Let's look at a real programmatic example of how you might use N8N or a computer, not your pet. Okay, so here's an email value, Raj at gmail.com. Okay, and so the condition might be if the email contains the word Gmail, which in that case, we're assuming that it is a Gmail address. And you could actually, instead of just saying contains the word Gmail, a better use case would be at Gmail. That way you know you're getting an email address. You could show an alert or an error to the user to use a real company name. So this is what it might look like. And again, notice the quotes. If email value contains Gmail, show an alert. Please use a company email address. Otherwise, don't do anything. Just go ahead and accept and continue. Now, this doesn't account for issues coming up like Yahoo or any of these other mails that are not business email addresses, but this is one use case of this, okay? So this is all that this is. I just want you to understand what conditions are. It's essentially just if this, do that. And there's some other ways of handling it in N8N with a switch statement. And so this is just like the if this, then do that. It's just a different mechanism to account for what I had just mentioned. This is only Gmail, but what if it's Yahoo? And that's what a switch statement will be. If any one of these conditions are true, you can do that. And it can get a little bit gnarly where you have the if statement written out, because ifs are generally made in such a way to where if this is true, do this. If this is false, in this example, I said do nothing, but you could take another type of action. And in the other type of action, you can nest a second if, and you can chain this all the way to infinity, which gets very chaotic, very ugly in code, very hard to manage, and that's where the switch statement comes in. Got really far ahead of myself, unfortunately. Didn't mean to scare you there, but there are good, interesting, and good, easy to use cases. It sounds hard to understand, but when we get into N8N and I show you the switch and the if nodes, this will make much more sense and give you a sigh of relief. Even though it sounds complicated here in the real world, and N8N makes a breeze of it for you, so don't worry. We'll check all of that out when we get there. Okay, we'll see you in the next video.